My goodness. I mean, thanks, ladies, to join us. We yeah, I'm based out in the UK, but we've got a very international audience who tune in to watch our interviews. So we always like to, introduce each one of you just to find out where you're sort of born and raised, so that the international audience can get a sense as to where you guys are, and we sort of try to track your journeys and stuff. So I don't know who wants to go first, and just to say where you're born and raised.
Okay, I'll start. My name is Monifa, born and raised in South Central Los Angeles. Um, that's pretty much what you wanted to know. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, South Central, okay. Yeah, who's next?
My name is Kenya. I am the kin of MokenStef, and I'm from Inglewood, California. How's everybody doing?
Okay. And then finally,
And this is Miss Steph, and I am from Inglewood, California. And I'm excited because our Super Bowl is going to be out here in our town.
Yes.
oh goodness. So a lot of us would say, "Oh, Inglewood, is that not where Mac 10 is from?" And South Central, okay,
Yeah.
Dr. Dre is from.
Mac
So
10.
yeah, so
That's our buddy. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's from Inglewood, just like us.
yeah.
We went to different schools, though. We all from Inglewood, but we went to a different high school than he went to. But yeah, that is our folks.
Okay. So I mean, okay, but I'll probably probably start with Mo, and just saying, okay, so you're born in South Central. How did you get into music, and what was your inspiration starting off?
Sure, Nambi. Thank you for asking. So it started with my mother and my father. My father is from Detroit, Michigan. He was totally a Motown. That was his hangout was with anybody in Motown. So Marvin Gaye was his buddy.
Wow.
It goes on and on. So he had a large collection of R&B albums. My mother, on the flip side, she was more of a jazz. She was a jazz side of my life. So she was a little bit more on the Sadiddy side. So I was exposed to, oh my gosh, I was just exposed to so much jazz. And so that mixture of jazz, like Sarah Vaughan, I'm sorry, I was trying to think of a person's name. Sarah Vaughan would be like one of her favorite persons, her favorite artist. So jazz and R&B and soul, and just mixed it up together. I was born. That's what birthed me.
Okay. Kenya?
Yes. My musical background just comes from hearing my parents play music as a child growing up, cleaning up. The parties, everything came from music, ranged from the Motown era, jazz, R&B, just that whole era, just listening to music and being attached to it. Even when the 80s came in, the late 70s, 80s, when rap came into it, I just gravitated to it. It was just in me through just hearing it and listening to it. And I adapted to it really quick. It was like just part of me. So just hearing music, being surrounded by it, getting the good vibes and good feelings from music, that's what married me to music. Just being around it and remembering good times and just feeling my soul and my spirit.
Okay. and finally, Steph?
Yeah, so for me, 70s music, Motown era, and then the whole hip hop with the Sugar Hill Gang and Ice Cube, that type of combination. So it's kind of like, I would say like, how we say hip hop and R&B, that classic R&B, classic hip hop that's timeless, that never go away. So it was more like Anita Baker. My parents, we always would have like family reunions, and I would kind of be the one that would always be picked to dance, to be the one, the entertainment, it was entertainment for free, right? Back then, free entertainment. Get your kid out there and dance and do little stuff. So I loved it, though. It was not a problem, no pressure. I loved it. But it was like family reunion where you're hearing those type of Motown era, Anita Baker and Cameo.
Oh.
That Rick James, it was good energy. Your kids back then, they wasn't like, oh, you can't listen to curse words or sexy music or whatever. But, the music back then it wasn't so vulgar like that, like it is now. You know what I mean? People would sing, with a seductive type of way of doing it, opposed to being just out there back then. So the kids, we all just vibe. We might not know what it meant, but it felt good.
Yeah. I mean, and I know that, a lot of us would have been listening to different types of stuff, but very few of us would ever think about a career in music. Did any of the joys of listening to music, how did it then become where you would just singing more of a, either in school or stuff? I mean, Mo, yeah.
Sure. So I could piggyback off of Stefanie as well. Family reunions, I was as well, like you, Stefanie. We were more like having talent shows. And so my mom always put me in that talent show. I was more of a dancer before becoming a singer. And that's the history of MokenStef. Is we met each other through dance. The love of dance was really, it belonged to me because singing was more of my mom's thing. That was her thing. So I pretty much, that was her lane. So I was more of a dancer. That was my lane. I had that spotlight. So that's what I wrote with. But as I got older, I picked it up from her. I didn't even know, because my mother is a professional jazz singer. Oh. And I actually picked up singing through her. And so to answer your question, really it was a love of dance that made me comfortable with performing in front of people. Yeah. And then, being honest, Stefanie and Kenya were the ones who encouraged me to sing.
Okay. Mm-hmm. You're talking about dance. So are you talking about, we had the electric boogaloo and the breaking? Was that?
Right. Let's be clear. Okay. So from the beginning, right. For the beginning, for me, it was ballet, jazz, tap, modern there. And then when hip hop hit the scene, I forgot all about the technical dancing, and I was grooving from then on. I was hip hopping from then on.
Okay. And,
so for your listeners to know, people who followed us from came out on the scene in 1994, 95 when we came out, we were dancing before that behind artists. We share that in our book that's coming out soon, but we dance with people, just to give people a little taste. And we talk about our experiences with them in our book that's coming out called Unfinished Business. Yeah. We talk about Big Daddy Kane. So Big Daddy Kane is somebody that we dance behind. Kid and Play, Domino. AMG was our, person that really got us to where we are today as a group, as MokenStef, when it all come together. But we dance in video. So we used to dance in showcases, and they were called ASCAP showcases, and different kinds around the community, around Hollywood, different parts of, Hollywood, go and perform and dance. And we would dance behind hip hop artists. Wow. So it's funny that you have people like Mariah Carey, Jamie Foxx, all these people back in the day before you knew who they really were. We all used to go to these showcases in Hollywood to try to do our talent back then, to show what we had. But we were dancing behind unknown up and coming artists at first before we made it to the video side of it, dancing for major artists that have already been signed with a record label. But that was one of those things where we would always win as the dancers behind those up and coming artists that, a friend of ours y'all should be a group. Y'all need to be not a dance group. Y'all need to really be a group, singing and rapping something. I know y'all got other skills than this, you know what I mean? Right, and that's how when Mo said we found out that she can sing. We heard her singing one day in back of a car. And I'm like, wait a minute, Kenya, do you hear her? Because me and Kenya would write rhymes and flip other people. They Quick, much love to DJ Quick. They from Cali as well. We would flip their songs, and write poetry. And so that's how all that ended up coming together. We made it work.
That's right.
So I just want to be clear about when Stefanie said in back of a car. She's saying that I was in the back seat of the car. And they were in the front seat and they heard me singing in the background.
not in the trunk.
Yeah.
She Mom. She was in the truck.
Yeah, because we
Good
do
one,
have an
good one.
international audience, so they've seen Menace to Society and Boys in the Hood, so they may be suspecting, like, wow.
Exactly. Yes.
But I guess, how did you guys then meet first? Because we just to see how you guys sort of met each other.
Sure.
Okay, well, I'll answer that first. Stefanie and I met in high school at Morningside High, which is in Inglewood, where we're from. And as Mo said earlier, we were all dancers on our own individually. And I was just dancing with a group where the members decided to do their own thing. And the word around town was like, Stefanie's a great dancer. I met her through cheerleading. We also used to cheer.
Oh, yeah.
But we just knew each other as cheerleaders. But then, the town's like, Stefanie's a good dancer. So I asked her if she would like to dance in the group with me. She was like, yes. And we've been dancing, like she said earlier, for unknown artists. And shows were coming up, and we dancer, and this spanned between high school and college. So in college, we were in search of a new dancer, and we held an audition, which we tried to gather a lot of females together and who we knew and things of that nature. But the only person that showed up was Mo, which worked out because it was meant to be. It was cosmic, and she, we did a little 8 count, 2, 3, 8 count. And Mo picked up the choreography really quick. The vibe was there. It just was an automatic mesh. It was very natural. It just felt good. So it was just meant to be. And that's how we met.
So much in common. Like you saying, see, like it's a trip, like you say, let's figure out this story, how we mesh. And that's how we do in our book. How we are individually and how we come together is just, you could tell it's destined. From we graduated in the same year. We what else? Oh, we all our birthdays were in September, and we're like days apart, a week apart, maybe the longest. I don't know. We're all chocolate sisters, we were all sassy, and we loved to dance. It was just, we were serious. Can you imagine being 17, 18 years old and say, you know what, let's start a dance group and let's hold an audition. At that age, who holds auditions? But they had the business sense of auditions because they were cheerleaders, and that's what they did. They learned the business of how to hold how to be professional and how to find another dancer. And so I happen to be a professional too. I was a dancer. You guys know I wasn't in cheer, but I was a pep rally. I was a dancer. So I was a part of the dance team, like the pep squad. So that was my contribution to my community or my school. I went to Hollywood High, by the way. And shout out to those programs who bus the inner city students into these types of schools that gives us the privilege and opportunity to experience that. Because I wouldn't have experienced it in my neighborhood. I'm thinking about that. Never mind that's not true, because we had manual arts and we had Dorsey, but Morningside, very prevalent high school in Inglewood. So we go to these great high schools, still not knowing one another, and then we finally meet each other through an audition that they hold. We link up. We're perfect for one another, and it's just been on ever since.
Yeah, and just your audience, just to know, some other people that we danced with was knew it, like BBD's. They had a girl group called Straight Ahead. So if people know the study about BBD, Belle Biv DeVoe, they had a girl group called Straight Ahead. Amazing dancers that danced behind me, and they had a group and we danced behind them. So they picked the dancers all around the world. They had a big audition. They had a lot of dancers, and we were part of that situation. And so we got to work with people like Brooke Payne, who's a phenomenal choreographer that doesn't take no mess. So that no shenanigans. He's serious about that dancing. So we already had that vibe, and to meet and be a part of that. That training was a good thing. And he also managed us at one time after we became MokenStef, when we actually official girl group. And we talk about that in the book. So we'll let you know that story.
Thanks for watching. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, but most importantly, to press the notification bell so that you can be notified when we do have a new interview. Loads to come, but thanks a lot for watching.
I begin to